What's up, everyone? This is Ill Factor here from beatacademy.com. Now, normally on this channel, I'm sharing music production tips and techniques to help you take your next step with your music production. But for this video, I just wanted to step away from the DAW, kind of move away from the computer, and just share a little bit insights from my past 19 years of producing music for a living, share some of the ups and downs from that career, and hopefully it would encourage and inspire you to take your next step with your music career. So at the very beginning of producing music, one thing that I notice is that there's this big contrast between someone who's starting a business and the artist who's starting a career in music. And if you're anything like me, I started producing music because I was passionate about it. I loved it. And if you're watching this, you're passionate about music and you wanted to get into creating your own music and eventually creating a career out of producing and making music. And that's exactly where I started from. And what I notice is there's this big contrast between the business person and the artist. And if you're producing music, you're an artist as well. Was that I pretty much dove headfirst into producing music because I was just passionate about it. I never really gave thought and counted the cost involved in pursuing a career in making music. And what I mean by that is, we tend to just start off, hey, this is a passion that I have. It starts off as a hobby, tinkering around. Hey, let me learn this software. In my time, it was, let me buy this drum machine. Let me learn how to actually create my own music and start getting that. And then, slowly it turns into, hey, this is pretty good. It comes natural to me. I like this. And then it turns into, hey, I think I can do this. And then you finally get that paying gig or that paying production project or something like that. And you think, hey, this could probably work. Now, that's how I kind of snowballed into the career. But the problem with that is halfway, I would just hit a wall and I was fumbling into this problem of, wait, where am I? How did I get here? And how do I really achieve the goals that I'm after? And diving headfirst into pursuing, producing music from a passion standpoint caused me to really start treading water in the middle of the ocean and not knowing where I was at. And so the difference between the business person is, hey, before I even open up a brick and mortar store or start a business, I need to count the costs. I need to find out who my target audience is, what's my market, what problem am I trying to solve with my product, if you're creating a product or service, and it's that building, what's the inventory, what's the cost of all this if I'm opening up a store. And so there's this almost analysis breakdown and this checklist that a business person does before even diving in. A successful business person, I mean, people could start business all the time and never really count all that cost. But the successful ones realize, yeah, there's a need here. I can fulfill that need with my product or my service, and I can put my messaging behind that, and I can go for that. And then there's some clear goals that they can kind of hit and check off throughout that process. Most artists and musicians don't really start that way. We start off just being wooed over by the passion of it, that we just dive headfirst into this whole thing. The business person probably dips their toe in the ocean first. So that didn't occur to me until, like I said, I'm kind of, treading water, so to speak. So one thing to advise is, what do we do? What do we do when we're caught in that position where we realize, okay, I'm here now. What do I do? Well, we can take a moment and realize, because of that gap, is that currently right now where technology and the music industry is at, you don't have to tread water and hope for a big cruise ship to come by to save you. What I mean by that is, a lot of times myself, I thought, if I could just get somebody, if I can get a manager or who believes in me, and they can do all the work and get me the placements, right? Or if I can just get a big publishing deal, and that big publishing deal will provide security. That's what I'm really after. I'm after security. Not so much, I started off with a passion for creating music, but what I'm really after is the security that can be provided through my music making, all right? Or, hey, if I can just link up with a record label that will constantly give me work, or same thing. I'm always placing my weight and all these bets, my expectations on, if I can just get this. Meanwhile, what I'm doing is while I'm treading water in the ocean, I'm waiting for a giant cruise ship to pass by to save me. When all the while ignoring the small little lifeboats that are absolutely nearby and I can hop a ride on till I get to a bigger boat. I know this analogy might sound weird, but it was really helpful and it came to light when I was sharing I was giving this advice to somebody who asked me, all I want is to be heard with my music. They were sharing the music. I was like, all I want is somebody to hear and my music. And I know what he was saying by that. This person was really saying, all I want is somebody to invest in me. And that's sometimes what we're really asking for when we're asking, where do I go from here? If I can just get that boost. Well, now we have to go back to what that business person is doing. Analyze where we're at. Analyze where it is that we want to go. Mark it down and realize, okay, what am I trying to achieve? Am I trying to achieve a massive fan base if I'm an artist to build, to gain some of that security that I'm looking for? Am I trying to get a publishing deal? Am I trying to do all these things? Now we have to just take a sober assessment of and realize what is it that we're striving to do? Because if you're like me, we snowballed into where we're at, but we never really took the time to just stop, realize what is it that I'm really after? What is it that I'm trying to do with my career? And then figure out, okay, how many lifeboats, so to speak, are around me that can help me achieve that, as opposed to what's the one magic formula? What's the one silver bullet? What's the one thing that is going to be the answer to everything? And so when we do that, when we realize and we take that sober assessment and understand, okay, all right, I might not have 1 million fans. Do I have 10 fans? Yes, those are 10 little lifeboats around me. Let me be faithful with a little so that when I have a lot, I can be faithful with that, right? So start by pouring into those 10 fans, bringing that immense amount of value to what you're doing for those fans, connecting with them, building relationships through your music with them. And then that starts to grow. And then those boats just become bigger and they carry over to new boats that are going to help get you at your destination. And that's really what I'm saying is, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling like you're treading water where you're at, just remember you probably got there because you jumped headfirst in out of the passion of creating music, which is perfectly fine. That happened to me too. But just take a moment to realize, where are these instead of looking for the big cruise ship, so to speak, where can I find some of these lifeboats? Where can I find the small details? Let me not neglect the small things that I could be focusing my attention on now that eventually will help get to where it is that I want to go. So that's something that I really learned the hard way, so to speak, because I fell into just I actually got into some depression. I thought, man, this is just crazy. And there's a lot of hard work involved in that, not to neglect that. But the reality is knowing that reality is like, okay, great. Now I know that my expectation can be a little bit closer to my reality. And so there's going to be less room for disappointment there. And that's really what I'm just trying to get across here with this. So, let's just take a moment to analyze where we are. Are we completely underwater here? Are we treading water? What are some things immediately that what are some low-hanging fruit? What are some things that we can do and be more faithful in that'll produce more fruit in the long run at the current state and circumstance that we're in? So I hope this is helpful for you. And if you want more tips, if you want more things to help you take your next step, with the mindset and just approaching success in your music career, I go more in depth the things that I've learned throughout my years of producing music with some of today's top artists and things like that. I share it in an ebook. It's an easy to follow along guide. Also, it can be very helpful when referencing for your music production as well. So this could be a really nice guide for you to gauge, some helpful shortcuts that can really eliminate a lot of time lost in the production of your music. So you can go ahead and download this by visiting beatacademy.com/book. And this walks you through the 5 essentials of helping you achieve the success you're looking for with your music career. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.